One more thing. Luka Doncic's return to face the Dallas Mavericks in the American Airlines Center finally brought some closure to Mavericks fans and hopefully to Luka himself. We'll talk about that and more. Today's Locked On Mavs. One more thing.
I'm here because I have to be.
Dallas is going to get a seat at the table.
That's it. It's me versus the machine.
Don't let his whiteness take away from his quickness.
You can rest later. You're young.
I never recovered here.
Wait. One more thing.
Yeah, you're still locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs your first listen. Joining me, as always, my co-host, covering the Dallas Mavericks as well for 10 years. All of Luka's career. The return, redundancy, the one more thing king. What you got from me, Isaac Harris?
What a night. What a weird night. There's just no other way to... It's one of the weirder sports moments I've ever been a part of.
One of the most unique, sporting events I've ever been to, and I think maybe the most unique NBA regular season game in history. Just seeing how fans responded, even just that idea that LeBron was playing in this game and was such a complete afterthought narratively.
Love that.
And even on the court sometimes throughout the whole game that he just didn't even register with some people. Like, people cheered for him. There's some LeBron jerseys, but it wasn't about him. And he is the face of the NBA still. He is the second greatest player of all time. And it's just like incredible to me that he was a complete afterthought in this game, which then just shows how big of a moment this was. So this is a bonus episode where we talk more about what we saw, and we'll talk about how Mavs fans are just never going to forgive Nico Harrison and Patrick Dumont. They never will. Seeing everything that happened in this game and hearing from people over the last couple of months just solidified that for me. We'll get into that. We'll also talk about stuff that we saw around the arena. We were here before. We were here after. We were looking at stuff. We were looking at stuff. We were talking to people.
Oh.
I almost said we were touching stuff. I guess.
Nope.
Well, let's start here, Isaac. I think this finally gave Mavericks fans and hopefully Luka himself some closure on this whole thing, this whole saga, because it's been drawn out to this point. And we saw Luka for the tribute video. The emotions came out. Maybe that was the first time he's felt those emotions. Maybe I think it's publicly the first time we've ever seen him feel those. The fans, we got to hear them chant "Fire Nico." We got to hear them cheer for Luka when he checked out for the final time. They finally felt like there's at least a moment where there's some catharsis and some closure for both sides for however you felt about this trade.
Yeah, I mean, this felt like a moment for Nico. On the Nico timeline, this was definitely a moment, where we were setting for the game. We could see Nico the entire game, stayed in the exact same spot in the tunnel. It's not like he, picked a different spot or anything. I mean, he's been in that spot
since the trade
for a while. Had some security with him and stuff, but it's been well documented that they've been trying to shut down the Fire Nico stuff for a while, post trade. But we were talking about predictions or questions for this show. If you've been listening to this, the show, and we're like, they're not going to be able to stop it on tonight. There's this, it's going to be the loudest it's ever been, and it definitely was the loudest it's ever been. And it's so that moment we were sitting up there together, and I was just like, if you just zoom out and just take the names out of it, have we ever seen a moment like this? Just watching thousands of people chant in unison for their own, the home team's GM to be fired. And as he's watching this, and it's what is this moment
off of one move?
Yeah.
And off of a team that just went to the finals last year.
Yeah.
That was not expected to go to the finals, right? Which again probably compounds that and makes it even worse that they just went to the finals and then he made that move, obviously, but it isn't like a situation where it's the Mets or the White Sox where they've been bad for so long, or the Kings where they didn't make the playoffs for
Mets
16
don't need
years.
Some straight
or the 16 years that Kings didn't make the playoffs, right? It wasn't like that. It wasn't like a Knicks thing where they've just been bad for a long time and then now they're back to being good. But it was one singular move.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that I thought about in all this is, imagine making that decision. You're Nico Harrison. You're Patrick Dumont. You're making this decision to trade Luka. There's no way they thought about the human element in all this.
I just go back. There's just one question I have in the entire night that I kept on saying to myself from the moment that I parked and was walking to the arena, and it felt like every person had a Luka jersey on.
Yes.
Not just, wearing their Mavs Luka jersey, but then a ton of,
Lakers, Mavs, Slovenia, everything.
It's just 77 was literally everywhere. And I'm like, I was walking in saying, was it worth it? Like, Nico, was it worth it? And that's the one question I would just love to ask Nico, especially after tonight. If he's sitting at home, and just to look at him and say, was all that worth it? Like, was the whole, you have so many fans that hate you, that are chanting for you to be fired from your job, to see this sports, icon in Dallas cry, like legit cry, not a tear up, not a little like, oh, is his lip quivering? No, legit crying. And that got me. I mean, we see like sports tributes of, people in all of sports.
Markeith
right?
got one tonight.
Okay.
I'm just another comparison of one.
Didn't have many highlights to
I
show,
loved the coaching on the sidelines in Markeith's tribute video.
Yeah, no, it was great. But even like the Lakers played into the embarrassment of the Mavs. JJ Redick doing the curtain call. Leaving Luka in, foul, exit the game, thing. To see even like our friend Mike Shedd, former assistant for the Mavs. He tweeted that out post game, was like, classy move by JJ Redick giving Luka the curtain call.
Definitely was.
And it's just like, just that whole, in those moments, especially in the first quarter, but then at the very end of the game too, the arena's chanting, it's fire Nico, but it's also Luka, and just him leaving the court and everybody lined up, every single person lined up to hug such a bad culture guy. Because that's what I think of when someone is just like bad culture. I think of, no one will want to talk to him, right? Like he just put a stain on the culture. But
every single person hugged Luka. Every single Mavericks player.
Including Mark Cuban and his son. And
Mark Cuban's wife was wearing a Luka Mavericks shirt.
I thought at first the dog during the halftime show had a Luka jersey. I'm like, this is next level trolling.
The Mavs are like, hold on, we don't make dog jerseys and anything else besides Luka over the last 6 years. It was an incredibly unique game in all that, and I go back to, there was hopefully just some closure for everybody. Do you think Mavericks fans got any closure in all this?
I think a little bit. Luka was asked post-game about it. He mentioned some closure in the ESPN interview post-game on the court. He was asking the post-game media presser about, hey, does this bring closure for you? And I think everybody kind of feels the same way that he said. He's like, it definitely brings some closure.
Yeah.
It doesn't close everything. I think there's, I don't think, one, it's not going to be fully closed for a while, a long time, maybe ever. But also I think we still have yet to see the Nico Harrison press conference, which has to happen at some point, right? Like
it'll be a draft one.
But it's like end of season or NBA draft. Either way, it's going to be the top storyline when he sits down, takes all the questions from local media, because until that happens, we know that that's going to come at some point.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be closed even more until that happens. So it just feels like it just keeps on dragging out. But tonight was a good, collective first step that it felt like everybody in the arena outside of Nico in the tunnel and maybe Jason Kidd was on the same page.
Yes.
Was just I miss this guy. I'm happy for you. I'm sad for you. And we're just all, collectively sad together.
I think it was 50-50 Lakers and Mavs fans.
Outside of Lakers fans. They weren't sad.
But but it was 50-50 Lakers and Mavs fans, I think. But it was 100% Luka fans.
Oh, yeah.
In the whole building, right? It's like anything he
Not
did.
the entire building.
The entire building except for one individual that was standing in the tunnel, I guess. But that was one thing that made it unique. And I think that they all got some catharsis out of it. There was that you couldn't stop the Fire Nico chants. You couldn't stop the Luka chants, the cheering when he got the ball. The tribute video, there was a lot in that. There was boos, for the Mavericks starting lineups right as soon as the tribute video stopped, which I found unique.
Well, the Fire Nico chant started off during Laker free throws.
Yeah.
And got
4
super
seconds
loud.
into the game.
But then at some point during the game, PJ was the first one. It started happening during the Mavs players' free throws too. And that was a part two. It's there's a point in the second half, I think it was the fourth quarter, in which it's being chanted pretty loud by everyone, and Max Christie misses 2 free throws. And it's man, I hate this for you, bro, but like this is the night for everybody to share their frustrations towards Nico, and that's why it feels like a moment from our side. It feels like a moment in the Nico timeline. Whether he realizes anything or not, no one knows. That's the age-old question. I feel like I had that same conversation with so many people tonight. Just had it before we hit record here with somebody else in the media, in them asking the same question we were asking back to each other, like, hey, do you think he looks in the mirror and like realizes it, but he could just never admit it? Do you think? And I feel like I heard that so much tonight of like, do you think he regrets it at all? And there's no way you can say it was worth it.
Coming up, I'm going to tell you why this solidified to me that Mavericks fans, the majority of them, will never forgive Luka, or never forgive.
Whoa.
Let me start that over. Let me start the whole takeover.
He's going to edit that out.
Coming up, I'm going to tell you why this solidified to me, this game, everything that happened tonight, that Mavericks fans as a whole will never forgive Nico Harrison and Patrick Dumont for what they did. We'll talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by TurboTax. This is a message from our sponsor, Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was waiting, wondering, worrying if you were going to get any money back. Then it was waiting, wondering, worrying some more. Now Taxes is watching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. And you got to get that done. You got to get it done. An expert who gives you your taxes their undivided attention as you work on your return, while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find every deduction possible, file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. No waiting, wondering, no worrying. This is Taxes. Get an expert now at TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com. Also brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks Daily Fantasy made easy. All you have to do is go to PrizePicks, pick more or less on at least 2 player projections. And if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Whoa! Go and combine. You can combine NBA or all kinds of basketball things with points, rebounds, assists, different kinds of stuff like that. You can also combine it with strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs from baseball players, and you can combine all those different ones. If you have multiple TVs set up watching multiple games at once, this is a way to have much more fun. This week you can build a lineup with a bunch of different people in it. Payouts are fast. Setting up a lineup takes 60 seconds or less, and when you win, your payout is quick, safe, and secure. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you put down your first $5 lineup. That $5 lineup doesn't even have to win. You get $50 just for putting $5 into the system and playing a lineup in some way. Code LOCKEDONNBA. PrizePicks. Run your game.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. The one more thing, a bonus episode, hanging out with us, being part of the Raccoon Squad. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you came out to our live show, if you watched the live show, if you participated in some way, thank you for doing that. That was absolutely awesome. We loved seeing all of you there. And I saw a bunch of you here tonight that were at the live show. That's cool. And so that was really cool, too. Check the QR code in the corner for different ways to follow the show. We have the newsletter, LockedOnDaily.com. The text line throughout the summer, the text line is going to be huge because we're going to send you every rumor we hear. We're going to send you all of our draft profiles on different players and things like that as that warms up. So subscribe to our text line and the newsletter as well. All right, Isaac. Mavs fans will never forgive Nico Harrison and Patrick Dumont. I don't think there's anything they could do. There was a group of Mavericks fans I saw. I think it was DLLS that recorded them at Chop Shop outside, and they had Luka Lakers jerseys on, but they were Mavericks fans. They were from around here. They had cowboy hats on. I think the cowboy hats showed that they were from around here.
Yeehaw.
But they said the Mavs could win 10 championships, and we wouldn't forgive Nico, and we wouldn't forgive them for what they did. Because of all the things we've talked about with Luka and how special he was to this franchise.
Yeah.
And seeing him and seeing everybody react to this move and seeing the fans react to this and seeing the tribute video and seeing all the clutch shots he's made and all the crazy passes, how easy offense comes to him and how easy it is to just how easy it is for him to go against any game plan you're going to put against him. And then just feeling the love from Mavericks fans made me really realize that they're never going to forgive Nico, ever.
Yeah, no, I mean, as long as Nico's here, I think that's that was another conversation I had multiple times tonight of what would it take to get the full fan base back. And I am in a belief that, hey, you win a title. It's hard to see the forest right now for the trees in front of you, but there are moments that and memories that happen in a playoff run.
Yeah.
We know this, that win your heart over with role players and stars and stuff. Luka was asked post game tonight of, hey, what was your favorite moment from the tribute video? He says the postseason run last year and the Minnesota game, the step back.
Oh, of course.
And he said we were underdogs in those series and stuff. So, I think there's a portion of there that there would be a lot of fans at a parade. Will it ever be like fully
Our Mavs
closed?
in a way, right?
Closed, or like will people be like really happy that Nico's here again? I don't see that.
Or that he wins. If he's a GM and they win a title, I think people will be conflicted.
Definitely conflicted. I think definitely conflicted. But will it reach that point? I think at some point, in order for the fan base to fully come back, there's a lot of things that have to happen in these trickle down effects, and the thing is, we just don't know when that will happen.
A title, if Nico is the GM, would be like a blood diamond, wouldn't it?
Be tough, yeah. Yeah, it would be tough. It'd be. I mean, talking about conflicted is if KD comes here, and it's KD, AD, and Kyrie win a title. It's like we're all excited for like Kyrie, but it feels like a mercenary title, in a way. But I want to go back to when we first, came in. Even we're talking about the fans too. I've never seen more different iterations of Nico shirts here.
Oh yeah, even walking in, I saw there was a QR code there was just a QR code by itself on a pole. Took a picture of it and it said "A2 Nico" on the shirt, and somebody was selling it.
I shot out a tweet about this, but I saw a couple of shirts with the Luka smiling at Booker meme.
Yes,
and Booker was replaced by Nico in that. Just a lot of Luka stuff, but also a lot of stuff about Nico on shirts. And that was another thing. I'm like, how do you see this whole arena and be like, yes, it was worth it?
There was a guy outside that bought like 1,000 clown noses.
I seen
and
that,
was giving them all out to people outside the arena.
Yeah, so it was just, we come into the arena, you see all the fans here, it's slowly filling up. A lot of times the 6:30 tip-off, it's an hour earlier than typically, but it got full by tip-off. A lot of times you see
it was about half by 6:30, which is rare.
Yeah, but early tip-off game, a lot of fans show up a lot later and stuff, getting off work and stuff, but it wasn't that way for this one. It was a packed house by tip-off, and just the scene like courtside and stuff too, talking with people, it wasn't fully NBA Finals level, but it was like playoff. Like there wasn't an extra like media section open in the 300s for Finals media, but it was the most media I've seen at a game since Tony Romo.
A regular season game. It was more than the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
The Western Conference Finals, they had like this section open, and then they had a section over there that was open. But there was just as much, if not more, and seeing Luka warm up and seeing the like perimeter that was made around the court, even just the whole half court when he was warming up was such a wild
you knew
experience.
He was about to come out. He always comes out around the 60-minute mark. And you started seeing everybody prepping, right? And you saw security which also heard tonight. Can't confirm it. But I did hear that the NBA head of security was here tonight, Leon Newsom.
Oh, makes sense.
But it's like you start seeing the security, like they're like huddling up talking. This is like during warm-ups. You never see this, right?
Yeah.
And they start stationing like security around the court of like just the half court of like where Luka is about to warm up. And Luka comes out. It's so weird. Pelinka's there. And this was one of the most telling things too.
Yeah.
In our home arena, I mean, the Lakers brass was just strutting around, right? Like, it's like you just got the brand new car and you're like, I got to drive the car everywhere
and hum the engine everywhere you go.
Yeah, I am taking the car. It's like, hey, wait, why do you have to go to Walmart? I don't. I just want to go take the car out. And it's just like they were strutting around like they had the fancy new car. Yeah. Pelinka was rocking around everywhere talking. Kurt Rambis was here.
Yeah.
And so it's like you look over on the side and you see Bill Duffy, his agent, LB, his manager. You see, Rob Pelinka, and you see his crew, part of his team and stuff, his training team, all in Lakers gear, which is weird because we've seen him in Mavs gear for a while. And it's just like, Luka comes out and he's wearing a stupid Lakers logo across his chest. It's like, my God. And it's like at the same time we were talking, Dorian is warming up. We both love Dorian so much.
The best.
And, we don't know a ton of NBA players personally, and Dorian isn't going to be calling me tonight, but it was a cool moment of Dorian's warming up, comes over, daps me up. And just references something about our time in the past, interviewing him and stuff, and how it's different now.
Well, and what he said, you look at us now. Who would have thought? He did the Paul Rudd meme.
That's what he said to me.
Who would have thought? And who would have thought he'd be back here?
He looks at, we dap up. Dorian looks at me and said, "Who would have thought after those interviews I'd be on the other side?"
You just wanted to tell that story where Dorian dapped you up.
I did. I wish I had a picture of it. There's not. I mean, come on. There's not a lot of NBA players.
But it does highlight how bizarre and crazy this night was. That even Dorian was part of it, and Dorian and Luka should have been Mavs for life.
It's tough. Yeah, and so seeing them warm up together was tough. Seeing him, Luka shoots the half court shot, nothing but net. You see some other people too. Greg St. Jean, assistant for the Lakers. You just see different people that's connected for Dallas and the Lakers, and it's like, God, this is weird.
It is just weird, and it's weird in sports when a trade can happen or people can move jobs and all that, and eventually you start rooting for laundry, right? Because the ownership is all gone, the front office is all gone. From when a lot of you were children and were watching the Mavericks, that's all gone. All the players are gone except for Dwight Powell, who has remained, and he is he who remains.
I'm looking at my notes. My God, did you slightly talk about the Babe Ruth quote?
No. I'm gonna just sit real quick because I don't think I can stand while you talk about
this. If there's ever a quote that needs to be on the soundboard, it's Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd's quote about comparing Luka to the Babe Ruth trade. And he was like, well, he's getting compared to Babe Ruth in that trade. That's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. He said that's kind of cool. Compared the Luka trade to the Babe. You know what happened in the Babe Ruth trade? The Red Sox traded Babe Ruth to the Yankees, and the Red Sox didn't win a title for 100 years.
I couldn't believe that quote was said.
It's kind of cool. Gosh.
I think it was one of the only times I laughed tonight. I watched most of that game.
There was a LeBron moment where LeBron tried to
throw it backwards.
He flicked that shot behind his head because it was late in the shot clock and it was a wild circus possession.
Yeah,
and LeBron made you laugh.
I told Nick, I was like, I think it's the only time he's made me laugh.
The three rims made you laugh, definitely.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stupidity stuff that he does that it's just his flat out lying, and he's a big reader.
What else do we see around here? It was.
Gosh, let me check my notes real quick.
There was. Yeah, it was just a very unique fan experience. I saw some signs. I saw one sign that said, "Nico, you gave me my 13th reason," which is that's tough. I saw another one that said, "Maxey is the reason why I'm a Mavs fan." Maxey wasn't here. Maxey didn't get a tribute because he wasn't here.
Miss Maxey. Got a tweet tonight from someone saying that they were in the bathroom crying and they couldn't after the tribute video stuff. And that they weren't ready to come out of the bathroom. This was the scene tonight in the arena.
Right.
Genuine feelings all around.
And if you're still a person that's why are you guys still talking about this? Think about everything that just happened tonight, right? We're gonna be talking about this. Oh, Dirk was here tonight. Dirk was sitting in the Adelson suite, and I just want to know what he's thinking through this whole thing. Here,
I mean, Tim McMahon said it pretty good. He's like, Dirk hasn't attended a Mavs game since the trade.
Yes,
outside of the Lakers game. So where Luka made his debut in LA, and he was here. You've probably seen the clip by now. He was with Taylor Rooks in the taking a selfie in the suite. They're new coworkers for Amazon. So promoting some stuff with that. But
wait till Dirk has to be on the desk for a Lakers game or a Mavericks game.
I was fully expecting a 2011 montage video tonight.
We didn't get any misdirects. They didn't try and pull any fast ones.
What Luka could have left? What if Luka left the arena in a Montana State jersey, holding a beer?
I did hear that Nico, when he was walking around, somebody held up a jersey to him, and I think it was a Luka jersey.
Ooh.
Held up a jersey to Nico and asked him to sign it. And Nico took the pen and then thought about it for a second and gave it back to him and said, I think it would be disrespectful for me to sign the jersey of another player. And I was like, imagine they pull out a Montana State jersey right after that and hand it to him.
No comment. I was trying to think of anything else. I mean, I was next to Omax tonight. I was calm. I was good.
He did hold it together.
And he was signing some autographs. He had the cast, on his right arm for, or right wrist for the surgery and stuff. So he was like signing everything left-handed.
This is a take for the offseason that we'll dive into.
Yeah. Well, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty impressive signature for your left hand. And he just looks at me and he's like, well, I'm left-handed. I was like, what the crap?
He shoots right-handed.
I thought I knew everything about you.
He shoots right-handed.
And I was like,
that's something we'll get into. Is Omax Ben Simmons is a take we'll have to
interesting. I just sat there and thought about it as I watched him sign everything left-handed.
Left-handed. Wild.
So,
all right, we're getting into Omax left-handedness. That means, guys, thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. And one more thing. We've got more. We'll have a post-game show after the Raptors game, Mavs home game of the season. And then we'll have the play-in, and we'll be covering all that. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
Love you, Luka.
Last time we'll talk about the Luka trade. Oh, my gosh.
Is it, though?
No, Nico will talk on them. We'll do it again.